Hey everybody, thanks for first asking if I was going to do a live stream tonight, and then coming in once I established the live stream was very nice, and I really appreciate that. I have a lot of work to do, so I had to get that out of the way for a client first, and then get this out of the way. Well, I don't want to say out of the way because you all are very important to me. You are the centerpiece of all this. So here I am, 10:15 in the Pacific, 1:15 in the East. Not quite the Atlantic, though. All right, let's, as Chris Cuomo would say on CNN, let's get at it. I believe that the Raiders will finish no better than 9-7. They may make the playoffs. I am not predicting the demise of the Chiefs. Some people are predicting the demise of the Chiefs because of strictly because of the off the field issues that the Chiefs have been dealing with their players, and thinking that will take away from the Chiefs on the field productivity. I disagree. For one reason, Andy Reid. I am not going to bet against Andy Reid. The Chiefs are the AFC West champions. They were very nearly the AFC champions until a very heroic Tom Brady stepped in and does what Tom Brady does. And I see no reason to bet against them this time. And I say that because, sure, everyone is fooled by the, I call this clean slate mentality. That is, we've got new player, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, F, blah, 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 right? And therefore, we're going to be the best. Therefore, we're going to be great. But there's one glaring thing out there, larger than Godzilla, which is why I use the hashtag Godzilla, stronger than King Kong, with the breadth of 1,000 King Ghidorahs. And you know what that is? You got to coach them. If John Gruden last year did not prove that he had the coaching acumen to bring a disparate group of guys together and produce an organization that wins. They lost far more than they won. Now, if you were mesmerized by Gruden's coaching performance during the Senior Bowl, as I was, and thought, hey, maybe there's a chance the Raiders will do better this year, as I thought, I would agree with you. But then, Coach Gruden said something to me at the NFL annual meeting that gave me pause. Welcome to Zenny 62, everybody. And this is what Coach Gruden said was basically this. He said, in answer to my question, are you going to do the helmet sticker at training camp again? And he said, no. And I think that's a big mistake. Now you would say, what's the helmet sticker? Well, in the Senior Bowl, the Raiders gave helmet stickers, Raider helmet stickers, to college players that were coached by Gruden who were doing exceptionally well, who made a great play, a great pass breakup, an interception. They got a helmet sticker. Some players, a number of defensive backs, including one in particular from Ohio State whose name just escaped me, got a mess of home helmet stickers. And I believe that person actually wound up going to Tampa Bay. But he's not going to do that again. And so to me, you go and you lose what I believe is one of the prime instruments of getting guys fired up. Maybe it works better with college players. Maybe Gruden is a better college coach than an NFL coach. Just wondering, okay? One of you out there said, Kenny G says Raiders didn't have much talent last year, very easy. Actually, it's not easy. And I say that because of this. The Raiders had a lot of talent last year. Even with the people they let go. The trouble is the Raiders didn't appropriately adjust to their talent. You have to remember something, Kenny, and look, at some point in American society, you have to become nuanced enough in looking at the game. Here I'm arguing with you, okay? And in a friendly way, I hope. But yeah, it is friendly from my end. But my point is, I'm arguing. I'm disagreeing with your point because how many times have we seen organizations like the Buccaneers with Tony Dungy? They had great talent, but they only got to touchdowns door. Gruden came in, different voice cadence, different coaching style was just what they needed, provided the spark, okay? But it wasn't just the coaching style. It was a vastly improved offensive approach borrowed from Bill Walsh, liberally. And you call it the West Coast offense, I call it the Bill Walsh offense. There are a number of examples like this. Let's take the Kansas City Chiefs, the Miami Dolphins of 2011, coached by Tony, the late, sadly, Tony Sparano, who, looking for an edge, made a very genius move. He brought in something called the very cool the Darren Mcfadden. I call it the Darren Mcfadden offense, and where you have the running back where the quarterback would be, and basically the running back takes the snap and has a play where the quarterback winds up throwing it. Okay, among other plays, and the offense I'm thinking of, Sparano, that he brought in with the Dolphins, and I'm writing Dolphins because he did use that during the Dolphins. He brought in this he brought in an offense that caught everybody so off guard. The Wildcat, thank you. God, it's been that long a day. He brought in the Wildcat, and it took the NFL so off guard that they went 11-5 that year. A number of people predicted a bottom dweller year for the Dolphins. They were 11-5. 11-5. And so my point is, it takes just a tweak here, a change here, and a difference of approach to make a winner. John could have done that last year. I am concerned that he doesn't have it in him to do that this year. Okay? It's very easy to say, hey, finished with a win. Okay. But that was toward the end of the year. This year comes out fresh, and it's not enough to say, well, the Raiders are a better team this year because they have a core of players that know their system. The Raiders have really changed so very much that we're, as far as I'm concerned, back to square one. The Raiders don't even know the Raiders. That's how different they are. Remember, this time last year, the Raiders came in with known quantities. Okay? Well, just before, I should amend that, I would say about a month before this prime time last year, the Raiders came in with known quantities. Amari Cooper, Khalil Mack. You're all waiting for Mack to sign, and the assumption was he's going to sign. But the Raiders are playing this ridiculous game of, well, he's not in training camp, therefore he doesn't want to be with us. Therefore, we're going to trade him. So what does he do? He goes to the Chicago Bears and produces, 12.5 sacks last year? What did the Raiders have last year? 13 sacks total? And that was remember how we heard that Arden Key was going to replace Khalil Mack? Remember that noise? Never came to pass. Remember how we heard that the Raiders were going to compensate by blitzing more? That didn't come to pass. What we saw was a good aspect of it. I think a fantastic aspect in that they went to single gap attack. But they were allergic to blitzing. Bringing in the safety from unexpected angles, just trying something that will work, getting the opponent off balance by doing the unexpected. That's not the Raider way under John Gruden. And yet it needs to be in the way the NFL is structured to win. Why do I say that? It wasn't that. It wasn't so slow safety play. You know what slow safety play means to me? It means safety out of position because the safety was given a bad game plan. That's what it means to me. I'm sorry, you all push a lot on personnel because of what you see or what you think you understand, okay? But I look at scheme, I look at plays, I look at what the coaches are asking, and this is why I want to argue. I look at what the coaches are asking the players to do. And my point is that the coaches are asking the players to run a predictable system, both in terms of offense and defense. Okay, everyone talks about the New England Patriots, but it's not because of the talent. It's because of the coaching. So how many times does the NFL have to collectively be hit over the head by Vince Lombardi trophy after Vince Lombardi trophy after Vince Lombardi trophy gained by the Patriots before the rest of the NFL gets it? It's about coaching. You can make what someone else says is a weak player look good by good coaching and well-designed schemes. So, having said that, that's the wild card. And I am candidly not confident this group can bring that. There's an old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not going to be fooled twice. I'm not going to be fooled twice. The adjustments weren't there. Why will the adjustments be there this year? Is the team faster? Yes. Are the wide receivers faster? Unquestionably. But if I'm playing a defense against the Raiders, okay, fine. I'm going to theoretically at this point, because I haven't seen them on tape, come up with a press 4-3. Pressing the wide receivers, threatening the safety up, occasionally going with a zero backfield in the defense, daring them to hit me over the middle, daring them to try to hit Antonio Brown because I think I can get to them faster than Carr can get to Brown. Okay? And I will bet you, I bet you see that this year. All right? I bet you do. I want to see evidence of the Raiders' ability to deliver a top-flight game plan. The last game of the season in Oakland, they showed signs of that. The game plan was smarter. The ball got out of Carr's hands quicker. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. The only thing I didn't like is they didn't move the pocket as much as I would have preferred. Okay? Other than that, yeah. All right? Hennessy says, best 5'11". Hennessy, how you doing? So I talk, what say you? Kenny G, you said Raiders doesn't have much talent, but what's your prediction? Julian Quintero, nice call. And Hennessy gave me a prediction. What say you, the rest of you? Here's mine. I will tell you what I believe. 9-7. Oh, by the way, how many people have seen The Avengers yet? I haven't seen it yet. Not that I'm changing the subject. Hennessy says Brown will not have 1,000 yards receiving. Why? Why? here's why I asked the why. Because, okay, I'm predicting 9-7 because I think 9-7 is achievable for this structure. Kenny G says, you're going back to the days of Tim Brown and Jerry Rice days, 10-6. No, I'm not. I haven't had them in mind at all. I mean, unless you're saying that he's going to take us back there with the talent he has. But I don't, and I hold that was more Mark Trestman and Bill Callahan. Remember, Mark Trestman and Bill Callahan, without John Gruden, designed one of the most effective passing games in NFL history. That wasn't Gruden. Okay? That was not Gruden. All right? So, Hennessy says we'll be predictable. And that's what I'm afraid of. I'm not confident this group of offensive minds can put together an innovative approach. When was the last time you saw the Raiders go no huddle for the entire game? You know, I'm going to tell you what offense, and I will tell you why, is going to scare the heck out of the entire NFL. It's the Arizona Cardinals and Cliff Kingsbury. You know why? Because they're going to go no huddle the entire freaking game. It's going to test the endurance and nutrition and conditioning of a number of teams. Because how many times have you seen an NFL team go offensively, go no huddle the whole game? How many? Anybody? Have you seen that? I haven't seen it. I mean, I haven't seen every game. Maybe you know of a game where, someone did that. The last time we saw anything close to that, you have to go all the way back to Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills offense, when they decided to go no huddle the entire game, right? But compared to what they did, what Cliff Kingsbury is going to do, clockwork. I mean, if you want to see an offense that will scare the heck out of you, okay? Scare the heck out of you. Watch Texas Tech last year, or any subsequent years. Jim Boyd says, why can't Brown have 1,000 yards receiving? I agree, Hennessy. Why can't he? I mean, here's the difference between predicting something and understanding why something happened. I'm more into understanding why it happened. So let me take both sides of the equation. Let me take Hennessy's side and defend the idea from a schematic perspective of why Antonio Brown will not achieve 1,000 yards. And to justify that, it has nothing to do with Antonio Brown and how I feel about him. I happen to think Antonio Brown's one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history, so that's not the issue. Okay? But if teams elect to press cover him and high-low him, in other words, low man press, high, okay? At the same time, they're blitzing from the weak side. They will give the Raiders fits and force Derek Carr to go to a receiver that's hot, like Josh Jacobs, or force the Raiders to really crank up their running game and get away from the pass in order to just tie together plays to finish a drive to achieve a touchdown, okay? So now, having said all that, you have to consider something else. Brown is not the only speed receiver the Raiders have brought in. You got Williams who came over from the Chargers, okay? And we have basically a whole new receiving core. Even Hunter Renfrow from Clemson. So, who's supposed to be the new Seth Rogers, okay? So my point is that if the Raiders can design the proper 5-wide, 4-wide system, they can overcome that. But that 5 wide, 4 wide system has to have a provision for the running back to run. Spread out and give Josh Jacobs holes to run through. Okay? That's how you achieve, that's how you solve the riddle, in my view, of how do you get the ball to Antonio Brown and yet make sure that you're feeding the other beasts that you put in that offense. And if you're not using no huddle in that, if you haven't designed that in, if John Gruden has not designed that in, quit. I'm serious, okay? I'm serious. I want to see more fluidity out of this offense. I want to see an offense that is systemic in its operation. I want to see something that is a bit less call a play, huddle, go, call a play, run it, run the play, go back to the huddle. You know what I mean? I wanted to see bing, 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 bing. And then when you scored enough points where you're 20 up, then you give it to Josh Jacobs and you muscle down the clock. Sounds like old 49er football, doesn't it, under Bill Walsh, but it works. All right? Let me get to your comments now that there are enough of them. And Hennessy says, I love when we had Jason Campbell in that offense, and coach, I think, was Com Cable. That's right. Well, Hugh Jackson. Okay. Rob Iman says, I think Arizona will be boom or bust. Why? Hennessy says he can, he just won't. Talking about Brown. Why? Rob Iman says, we'll see how NFL defenses adjust to the air raid. My prediction, they're going to be tired out. It's going to be so fun. I cannot wait. Oh, pure air raid, finally, okay? It's going to be so fun, man. With a guy, Kyler Murray, who can also run. Kyler Murray is going to run the kind of offense that the Ravens should run with Lamar Jackson. You hear what I'm saying? All right. Watch, okay? Hennessy says they will make the number 2 receiver try to beat them. Unless, see, here's the thing. Here's where Gruden moving around Antonio Brown comes into play, if he sticks to that, and I believe he will. Come on, John. Hopefully. You're not God, but I'm just playing a God that you do it, all right? Rob Iman says, defenses now have film on Mahomes, and I have him likely falling back to earth a bit this season. I completely disagree. Jay Willis says, hey, what's up? I think the Chiefs are going to take a major hit with Tyreek gone. I completely disagree. Rob Iman says, I see defenses running a spy on Kyler Murray. I see defenses running a spy on Kyler Murray, but here's my issue with running a spy, okay? It's great, but when you want to, but who are you going to spy? In other words, who are you going to use to spy him? Because when you use that person to spy him, and you have him sprint out this way, and it's a linebacker, you're moving the linebacker in that direction, you're opening up and you're running, slant the other way or crossing pattern, that's vulnerable. If you're playing man for man and you're spreading out, if I have 4 wide receivers and I'm spreading out, then I can hit them over here. If not only that, you're playing read option out of that system, and that spy person in a read option system has, okay, let me be a bit more technical. If I'm playing a 4-3 over or under defense, let's say 4-3 under, and I've got a read option call to the underside where the linebacker is, okay? And ideally, you've got 2 high safeties. Okay, you're going to bring 1 safety down and have him spy, all right, on Murray, okay? So if you have him spy on Murray here, all right, and you have a running back here and you fake that option, all right, you've got, first of all, you're bringing him up, you got 8 in the box. That says throw. However, if I have the read, I'm freezing the 8 in the box. I've got Mr. Anderson, Mr. Fitzgerald, excuse me, running, let's give him an option route, middle safety open, you go this way, middle safety close, you go corner, all right? I'm looking at Larry Alexander, single covered, freezing the 8 in the box, improving my ability to hit him over the middle. Because they're all looking for that run by Murray. So Murray presents a lot of problems. And if you're spying, what you're telling me is you're bringing a guy up closer to the line of scrimmage, committing fewer to the passing lanes, and you're not playing zone. Okay, you cannot play zone 4 wide like that. You will get killed. Especially if Kingsbury brings the kind of spacing into the league that I have called for, and that only Hugh Jackson was smart to bring Art Briles in, but then he ran the wrong plays out of the spacing. Oh, don't get me started off. Oh, gosh. Oh, okay, look, numbers are here, right? A yard out. Art Briles goes to the Sid Gilman School of Offensive Football, okay? What is it? We use all the field, all 53 yards of it. Spread your formations out that way. Go deep as the deepest person, and then you run trees. Primary, secondary running the out parry, tertiary running the flat. Bing, bing, bing. Even Bill Walsh's system was built on that. He was an offensive assistant, under Al Davis, where he learned the Sid Gilman style of football and then sprinkled in proper footwork and timing. So, point I'm making is that these approaches, when applied to the idea of the spy versus a running quarterback in an air raid system, can be extremely effective at destroying a defense. Now, No Way says, do you used to play football? Whatever. Let's see here. I would say this. Rob Iman says, my boomer bust theory on Arizona is connected to my thought on defenses adjusting to the air raid. But how? Okay. Rob Iman says, the NFL defense will have to learn steal coverage this season. Explain that. What do you mean? In other words, okay, when you say adjust to an air raid, what does it mean in terms of adjusting? All right? What does that mean? That's what I'm asking. When you say adjust, what do you mean? What do you mean? How do you adjust to an air raid? Do you play man for man? Do you play Rip Liz in the middle? I certainly hope you don't say that. How? This is where technical football comes in. And the reason why I'm pushing this is because it's really easy to say, and we get all excited about the people that are drafted because it's always, 0-0 and no one's played, right? But we do have a pattern of these guys, okay? Of what they've done. I'm not talking about the Raiders in terms of coaches. Now, one could say, hey, you know what? They have different personnel, and different personnel allows them to do different things. I can make the argument that last year they had Martavis Bryant, and they didn't use him effectively at all. You would say, oh, they threw it deep to him a lot. Yeah, that's the problem. But he's a fast guy. Throw it to him short in the flat after play action. Fake to Marshawn one way, come back, have him catch the flat pass, run for 8 to 10 yards, and get yourself a first down. That's moving the ball with a speedster. It's called ball control with a speedster. Did we see any of that from the Raiders last year? No. No. You watching? All right. Come on, Rob, bring it. I'm waiting for you. Rob Iman says the safety is going to have to be used as a robber in steel coverage formation. But my point is, if you use the safety as a robber, okay, a robber defense is effective when you expect a team. It's effective against a team like the Patriots because the Falcons did that in the 52nd Super Bowl. Okay? They used that kind of defense. They brought Keanu Neal up, number 45. was really a defensive back, but they made him a middle linebacker. They made him a robber. And the robber basically snuffed out the Patriots' offense. Sure, but against an air raid, forget it, man. They will torch that. That thing will get torched like nobody's business. Oh my goodness. See, the Patriots, it was great because the Patriots at that time were doing what John Gruden did a lot of last year, and that was basically hold on a second. And that was basically what he did, pure and simple, was straight out, tried to throw the mid-range pass. When the Patriots tried to do that against the Falcons, Grady Jackson was in the backfield, sacking the crap out of Tom Brady. The Pats were getting harassed until they woke up. Bill started going to the sideline, looking at the Polaroids, as I call them, the images, got a clue and figured out, hey, you know what? We better start short passing. Short passing out of no huddle is the tonic against a robber defense. Got it, Rob Iman? That's the tonic. All right? Short passing out of a spread formation system. I'm telling you this, if Jamarcus Russell had been in this system, in that kind of system, he would have been a Raider legend. I mean, real Raider legend. Okay? But Lane Kiffin didn't have the, put that together. All right? Just being honest. Just being honest. You got a guy you could throw like that. You don't say, oh, he's got an arm, throw it deep. You say, you know what? That means it increases the certainty of completing the short pass. Yeah. Makes sense, doesn't it? Ooh. Ugh. Don't get me, get me started, okay? Rob Iman says, my boomer bust theory on Arizona is connected to my thought on defenses adjusting to the air raid. I got it. I got that. Okay, Jay Will says, hopefully my Ravens pass the ball more this season instead of having Lamar run the ball 15 times plus or more. Yeah, and getting him killed. Let's hope that Marquise Brown is used appropriately. And let's hope the Ravens discover a more innovative approach this year. Rob Iman says, safety is going to have to be used as a robber. I got that one. I think you said that before. Jordan Yancey says, I think the Raiders offense will be in the top 5 in the league. You can't just stop one person. The defense will be pretty good too. Jordan, I'm concerned because the problem with the Raiders defense is, single gapping is an approach, but they're not practicing 88 keys. What do I mean? Something that was popularized by the Vikings during the fearsome foursome days, where you have and represented in formation style by Tom Landry and Ernie Staunton in their flex defense. What is that? That is, you have the defensive end forcing a run play, the defensive tackle reading the run play and pursuing where the running back goes to make the stop after the defense has theoretically forced the running back inside toward the tackler, okay? So one person plays force through the gap, the other person holds their position one side of the gap, not two gapping, only one side of the gap, okay? The middle linebacker holds his position from the gap on that side, the flow side of the play. Offside defensive tackle is down, pursuing from the backside. Defensive end is holding his ground, watching for the backside cutback, okay? If you look at that, if you think about that, and that defense is ran properly, you will see 88 keys. Each defender in a gap. The Cowboys did it most masterfully with the flex. The Buccaneers did it in their own way. But when you watched film from the angle, from the end zone angle, we were able to tell where the defensive breakdown was. The Raiders defense, remember we were having the arguments about Ken Nort, about Jack Del Rio, and Del Rio basically having Ken Norton teach his defense, which was basically an uncoordinated system, and it wasn't Ken Norton's fault. I kept saying that. That's what I was talking about. You look at those end zone angles, you've got, Khalil Mack over here, okay? And, you've got Eddie Vanderdoes over here and everything else. And after a while, it's kind of like, geez Louise, what's going